I'm damaged. Please don't fix me. Welcome to another episode of Sellouts, the podcast for MGK fans by MGK fans. And we have a super special two guests actually on today's episode. We have Rob and Brandon, ESTXXCAST, baby. They are in the house.
Yes, sir.
This has been a really cool moment for me, honestly, running Pink Fucks for the past 8 months or so. We've been kind of picking up some traction, and somehow, some way, the XXCast guys found me, and we've just been kind of shooting the shit ever since, and here we are on the podcast. So, fellas, introduce yourselves, and let's jump into this.
My name is Rob. I've been an MGK fan for 9 years. I think it's going to be a decade soon. I don't know. I think maybe in a few months a decade or next year a decade. One of the two.
Nice.
The first song I ever heard was Invincible, because I was a huge John Cena fan, like die-hard John Cena fan, and then I saw him perform that song, or I saw them like promoting it in wrestling, and then back then I was like a kid. I didn't have any like device to listen to his other songs. So then I just kind of was seeing what was on wrestling because they promoted this stuff a lot. And then my brother got like a iPod, and then he downloaded Breaking News and all his mixtapes. And then at that point I was like in love. But I've known about him for like 10 years, but I like became in love probably for like the last 9 or 8. But
yeah, and Brandon, what about you?
I want to say I became more of a fan of the Tickets album. That's when I started to go on his tour and see his shows. And then after I heard Tickets to My Downfall, I went back on his older songs. Like, I knew Bad Things and stuff like that. But I want to say I've been a fan for like 4 years. A few years.
Yeah, so that's actually really interesting. So you guys both run this page, which at this point has what, 10,000 followers, a little bit more?
yeah.
Right? And I know this is the page that we see gets recognized by some of the crew, right? Slim reposts you guys a lot. I know Rook has. I'm sure Kells has as well. So I think what's really cool is that you two are kind of running this page from almost two different perspectives, right? We got Rob coming in, more of an OG, and then Brandon's coming in kind of during like this second wave here. So how did you two meet? Were you guys friends before? How did this page come to life?
This story is fucking crazy. So we actually met at the Big E in Springfield, Massachusetts last year during the Tickets to My Downfall tour. And like fucking, I think we got there and then we were in line whatever at like 8 a.m. Then 9 a.m. Then he comes in like 20 minutes later. And he was sitting there, like, not talking, whatever. And then me, myself, I talked to everybody. So I was like, yo, what up? Dap him up. Because I was like, this is the first tour I've been to in, like, since 2019. Because I didn't go to any shows until 2019. I was like, yo, what up? Making friends with everybody. So I made friends with him. Got a Snapchat, whatever. We weren't even next to each other in the pit. We, like, were at different parts. And then, like, I think then, like, we were talking over, like, the internet, whatever. And then we went to a different show together. Then we became real friends, like, at that point, because that was a show where I was actually this is when I was just running it, I guess. I got DM'd by this guy named Kenny LaRosa. He was on the Tickets to My Downfall tour. He was doing like setting up merchandise and shit.
Is that Hoopla Kenny?
Yes. No,
Okay,
not
No,
Kenny.
it's,
No.
Gotham Kenny.
Gotham
Got it.
County.
Okay, Kenny. Yep, right. Yep, Kenny. Yep.
He hit me up and he was like, yo, are you going to any shows, whatever? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to Mohegan Sun. And then me and Brandon were talking for a while. I was like, yo, whatever, like, because he let me pick a couple people for VIP to bring with me to help go back there. And then I picked Brandon and whatever. And then after that, we drove to Cleveland. we hung out like twice, literally twice, and then I was like, yo, let's go to Cleveland, bro. So we drove like 12 hours, and then now we're
Took a
boys.
trip 12 hours as absolute strangers.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and I know we were kind of talking about it like before we started recording. So again, where are you two from? Like, where are you guys coming from? When you guys say you guys drove to Cleveland?
I'm from New Hampshire. He's from Massachusetts.
Mess.
Yeah. So we had a couple of Northeast boys that made the trip down. So that's cool. So was it that trip then that started the page?
No, I've been doing it for before that.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
he didn't get involved until pretty much after that show. Because then after that show, I was like, bro, let's do something, whatever. And
We
Yeah.
wanted to start.
I was just
like, our
posting
own
highlights and
podcast.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing our own podcast for a little bit, but then I gotta get back into it. I guess that's the thing. It's
Work
hard.
schedules got crazy. The topics got hard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, listen, if you guys need another podcast guest, I mean, I know a guy. So.
Got you.
I think we're trying to go too big at first. Like
Yeah.
I got Bobby Boucher on.
Yeah, you guys got
one.
Bobby Boucher as your first guest for the
and
first
then,
episode. That was
like
fucking sweet.
I was in talks with Rook's dad to get
Okay.
Rook, but then the tour started and his schedule got all busy and shit, and then I kind of
Yeah.
was like, talks were so close to get Rook, and then it just kind of fell out. So
Yeah, I got you. So Rob, when did you start the page there? And just kind of give us some of the backstory behind it.
I probably started it like 2 or 3 years ago. It was a different name before.
What was it before? For people that don't know.
It was something. I think it was like Tickets to My Downfall, 19XX or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
And then before that was like MGK fan, some numbers. It wasn't really like a cohesive thing. It was just posting highlights and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
And every album, I would delete everything and then redo it.
And start over.
And
Yeah,
then
that's cool.
when Tickets happened, that's when it kind of like
It boomed.
yeah. So and I
Yeah.
mean everything boomed for us as like a fan base, I guess.
As a
everything
fan
boomed,
base, yeah,
so.
right. Yeah. Listen, man, it was only a matter of time. We just needed to wait until a genre switch, and then mainstream people actually started coming out, and this whole thing, and it's been absolutely beautiful. So Brandon, unfortunately, just disconnected. We'll we'll get him back in just a moment. It's cool. We'll keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you as the OG. Describe what the past 2 years have been like for you, watching this all unfold. Because I'm sure that you're experiencing very similar things to me, where it's just this, oh shit, like they did it, like they finally fucking did it, they finally fucking broke through.
Oh yeah, I remember like 3-4 years ago, they were opening up for Fall Out Boy, and all the shows, bro, it was like booing everybody because it was like right after Eminem thing.
Yeah.
And now I think Fall Out Boy should be opening up for him. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
but it's been absolutely like it's been crazy. Like when I was in school, so everybody in my area, and I feel like everywhere, like I can't find any MGK fans unless I'm at a show. It's so weird, like, and I know how big he is, but everyone
They don't exist in real life.
Yeah.
Like they
I actually got a funny story with that one.
Go ahead.
There's this guy I work with. I do security right now for hockey games, and there's this guy that I work with. He actually got the double X on his neck.
That's cool.
He's a diehard fan, and then his girlfriend got like I want to say 4 or 5 MGK
Yeah.
Oh, that's
tattoos.
hard.
And it's like, this is the first time I ever seen someone around me that I work with in the real life outside of a show that, whoa, you guys got tattoos as well. I'm like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
They went to Jacksonville.
Oh, cool.
And saw him.
Yeah, I think for me the closest thing that I've seen to a real life MGK fan in the wild is the dude who works at Starbucks as barista. I pulled to the drive-thru and he was wearing MGK gear. I was like, my man, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Like what a crazy place to see somebody wearing MGK stuff. But like, I think like that is the thing that is so cool about MGK fans, almost as a whole, is for as many of them as there are now, it's still very hard to like or come across one in real life. And so when you do, that moment is just so cool. And that's actually one of the reasons why I got my double X tattoo, just because, like, one, obviously, you know, it means family. But if anybody, I got mine on my arm here. There we go. You can see mine. Let's go. We all see, and right. So we're all family. And so it literally is one of those things for me now, to where if somebody sees my tattoo, they know. Like, it's just one of like those like kind of like tip of the hat almost, where if you need anything, I got you. Like you can trust me. So I think that's what's so special about this fan base as a whole.
Just to go back on to what I was saying was so back then everyone would like, I had so many people like, they're all like, whatever this, whatever that, you know, he's trash, all that kind of you know, BS that everyone hears. I mean, we still see it on Twitter and stuff, but
all the time.
Can't even tell you how many people over the last 1-2 years that have texted me personally on Snapchat and was like, yo, this song is fire, or like, yo, I went, like, my buddy, he went to a I think he went to a show during the Thug tour, the Young Thug thing, 2019. And I mean, that's still OG time kind of, but he was telling me he was so bad, and then he went to a show, you know, for Thug, and then he hit me up like 3 weeks later. He was like, bro, I went to see MGK. I saw him at a Young Thug show, and he was like, yeah, he was so sick. And then, like, the amount of people that I've had, like, that, like, ridiculed the frick out of me for, like, 10 years, like 6 years, 7 years, and now they're listening to him, and I'm like, feels good, man.
It's cool. I think the cool thing about that is I personally always take that as like a sign of appreciation. So my brother, for example, was in on MGK pretty early on, fell off super hard. Then tickets dropped, and his first text to me said, MGK and Halsey's song may be a top 5 song of the year.
Hey.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, it's like the little.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, right. It's the little like validating moments for me personally that make this whole journey worth it. You know, like, yes, there's a ton of hate that still takes place, and it was worse, you know, a few years ago, and now just to kind of be at this place now where our man's getting the flowers and the roses that he deserves, and we're all able to kind of witness it and see that journey from start to finish, or wherever you came in on board at. Is just so surreal and so cool.
Exactly. The hate now, instead of music-wise, it's all, I mean, as he says in El Diablo, it's the appearance. That's all they hate.
That's it. Exactly.
That's it.
Right.
From what I see, at least. I mean, people say stuff about music and stuff, but it's always about the genre or his appearance. No one ever actually says he's not good at the genre. They just say he had to switch genres.
Which
they don't say he's not good at it.
That's right. That's a very
they just get triggered.
Very good point. I want to ask you guys this. So, especially as you guys have kind of, as this page has kind of taken off, and I know, I feel like we've all fallen even more in love with Kells over the past, 2 or 3 years now at this point. So, how many like shows have you guys gone to recently?
I think
recently,
like within the past 2 years, let's say.
If I count it, hold on, let me just give me 2 seconds.
7, right?
Okay.
I went to the first Boston show last year, the Big E. I went to Mohegan Sun, Christmas, Boston this year, New York, Indy, Cleveland. 8.
So you're at 8.
Yeah.
So you're at 8. Brandon, what were you at?
I'm at.
He didn't go to the. I don't think he went to the first Boston show last year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't do the Boston.
And I think I'll be at 9 because I'm going to Fort Lauderdale for the festival.
Oh, I want
at
to.
The beginning of September. Yeah, right. Oh,
I'm
that's gonna be
thinking
so
about
much
it.
fucking fun. That's gonna be so sick.
Everyone's going to that show.
Yeah. So I went to Jacksonville, the first show back from COVID. I went to Charlotte and then XXXCAST last year in Cleveland. And then this year we did Charlotte, Raleigh back-to-back days. Then we did Camden and MSG back-to-back days, and then we did Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of traveled up through the East Coast. Rob, you guys said you guys went to New York. You guys went to MSG.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was crazy.
Let's talk. Okay. That I really want to get your feedback on this and your insights. What did that show mean to you guys? Like the fact that he was doing MSG sold out.
I'll let Brandon go first on this one.
Well, I was thinking like, well, this is one of the most like iconic venues, one of the most well-known venues out there. In the fact that he was able to sell it out, it was like, whoa, his fan base obviously grew big from him performing at, say, for example, Mohegan Sun just a state away over to Madison Square. And it's not even like he was an opener for it to be performing at a sold-out show. It's like he did that. It's like he's the headliner. He sold it out. And just the progress is great. But
yeah, Robin, what about you?
So for me, first, the sound for that show was insane.
Yeah.
That's just the first thing I want to say. The speakers that was the loudest show of
Where
the
were your
last
seats
9
at?
shows. We were front pit.
Holy shit!
Yeah, we camped out at midnight.
Did you guys buy those tickets resale or were you
No,
able to get them on release?
No, we got them
you
on
guys got
release.
them on release.
Oh yeah.
We got them
Resale would have
released.
been cracked out, bro.
So fire. Okay, yeah, that's sick.
resale was crazy
But-
that day.
For me, I kind of like when I first saw, because he did an Instagram live stream, I believe, a month or two prior to announcing the dates, and he said he was headlining Madison Square. And the first thing I thought, I was like, I have to go to it. Like there was no like I didn't, no matter what. Because and then when I saw the dates, I was like, holy crap, TD Garden is like 3 days before. This is gonna be crazy. So I had to do it. So I got both tickets, of course, because I had to go to my hometown show, and then then I have to go to that one too. So it was just, I feel like seeing him going from, because I went to a show with 2,000 people, seeing him do that show to then headlining the biggest venue in the whole United States is like, not biggest people wise, but like most like iconic. Like people look
Well
back
known.
at that show like, I mean, something happened to that show that wasn't good, but the show itself was absolutely legendary. Like the whole town was pink, the whole city was pink. Like that didn't even. I don't even think that happened in Cleveland. And if I think it did actually a little bit, but not much.
a little bit.
Part of the buildings were pink. There was actually a lot of it was pink, but the big tower with the point or whatever, the Empire State Building, that thing was pink. Like
Life in Pink dropped the day before, right?
then,
or 2 days before, I think it was.
Yeah, it
so
was
that was really cool. They had Life in Pink billboards all over the city.
Yeah, it was just, I'll never forget standing outside the venue waiting for like 16 hours, just watching the one billboard at Times Square just constantly change, and it shows. It would show the Hulu ad for it, and it was constant, like it was on like a loop, like every 5 ads or something. So we were literally sitting there for 16 hours watching that. It was actually pretty unreal. The more surprising thing to that show
Did we camp out with Boston?
was that show had the least amount of people. No, we did not. Well, we kind of did. We got there at like 4 a.m. But that one had the least amount of people there.
Like camping out?
Yes.
Gotcha.
TD Garden had about probably like 30 to 40 people there at like 5 a.m. Cleveland, I mean, crazy.
Cleveland was nuts.
But
everybody was camping.
I think Madison Square had like us and a couple homies.
We had a group of 6, right?
Till like 11.
Do you think that's a byproduct though of New York kind of as a whole?
That's what I was thinking, but we were all like so confused because we were like, this is weird. This is like, because like someone that was with us went to a Florida show, and she was like, Florida was like this, and Florida.
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
but I think it's just because, from what I heard, the pit and from what I saw, the pit was really small.
The
So I
pit
don't
was
think people.
really small.
I don't think
Yeah.
people were worried about where they were gonna be. So,
Mhm.
but I was like, if I'm gonna make the trek out here, I'm gonna just camp out. So
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Mhm.
So, but I just think it was.
That was a funny camp
I just
out.
think it was unreal just watching the smile on everyone's faces, like
Yeah.
Slim. Like I remember I was
Mhm.
going like this in the pit, and
Yep.
he saw me, he was doing it too, and
Yeah.
you know, MGK like he smiled at me. Not gonna lie. He did.
Cool flex, bro.
But it was just, as a fan for like a decade, it kind of made it like whole, and I don't know how
Yep.
he's gonna get bigger than that, but
Yep. That
I don't know.
is exactly how I feel. So I have a very similar story for you guys in MSG as well, where he said that he was doing MSG, then the tour dates come out, and I'm looking through everything, and it's like this, like, even on top of selling out Rocket Mortgage Arena last year, doing the Brown Stadium this year, which are both incredible feats in their own right. You don't stay a fan for this long and miss the pinnacle of entertainment at MSG. So I was
Exactly.
fortunate enough. I was at work. I had 5 tabs open. I had Charlotte, Raleigh, MSG. I had all the tabs open, just trying to fucking go through it. And it was like, no matter what happens, I don't care where my ticket is. I was in the nosebleeds for it. I don't care where my seat is. I need to be in New York for this show. And that's how we made it happen. There was no second thought or anything to it. It was, this is the biggest moment of his career. You need to be there. So that's how it played out for me as well.
Exactly, and back to what you're saying about the tickets. I remember, tickets to my downfall, that thing was a complete disaster. Those tickets I don't know if you remember, they sold out like this, bro. Like
Yeah,
instantly
I do a little bit.
for tickets. And then
Mhm.
this tour, I literally had I think I had just like you were saying, like 4 or 5 devices.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it was actually very easy to get tickets. this
Yeah,
time. For me.
I think I was able to knock out all mine. I got everything that I wanted
Exactly.
as well.
But the tickets to
Yeah.
my downfall tour, that shit was, I think, the first show, I didn't get close seats because it sold out in 2 seconds. Well, actually no, because I didn't. So the first show that I went to ever, it had seats and general admission,
Okay.
but it didn't really matter which one you got because they're all the same thing. So this venue, I didn't look up the venue beforehand, so I actually had a very close seat, but I was looking up to see if it was actually seats or not. And
Yeah.
then by the time I figured out it was gone.
It was
Which kind
gone,
of
yeah.
sucked. But I remember I missed out on every single for that tour, not this recent one, but the last one.
Mhm.
I bought resale for Cleveland. I bought resale for Mohegan Sun. I got resale for no, I think those are the only 2 shows I went to that. And then I got the Big E. The Big E was it's like a carnival thing that we have in Springfield.
Yeah.
Those tickets, I got them. They went on sale differently than the main tour did, so I got
Everything
those,
else, yeah.
before everyone else did. But then when they actually went on the public sale for the Big E, the site crashed. That shit was trash. But
Yeah, I got
this tour, I'm just
resale
thankful.
on the Biggie.
yeah, I'm just thankful that this tour was very. I don't know how they did it, but the way they did it.
It worked. So let's do it again next year.
Exactly.
Cool. I want to talk about something cool and unique that I really don't know how many podcast guests that I'll have on can have a very similar experience compared to you guys. But you guys have met Kels. How many times? Like, is it once, twice? What's the number?
I have met him probably, I think, 5 times.
And at this point, does he know who you guys are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
At this point, it's not necessarily meeting. It's more like, what up?
Yeah, it's more like saying what's up.
Yeah, exactly. At Indianapolis, he went up to me and was like, "What up? Good to see you, bro. Dap me up."
Yeah.
We talked to shit for a second though, because it was
Yeah, right.
everyone was around him. But yeah, the first time I ever actually met him, I was near him, the first show I went to last year, but at Mohegan Sun, I dressed because it was Halloween day. So I dressed up as VMA, the VMA outfit, whatever.
Fire.
And yeah, it looked really good, but the shirt was extremely tight.
I
So
believe it.
when I wore it this tour in Cleveland, I was getting so hot, and must have got bigger or something since then, and I
Okay.
couldn't take it off, so I had to rip it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so I wore that, and it was on Halloween, and he was talking about everyone, and I was in the front, whatever, like the middle, because like I said, we helped backstage, so they let us go in before everyone else,
Yeah.
and he was like talking about everyone's costumes, whatever, and I was like, "Yo, look at me, look at me, look at me," and he was like, "I'll talk about you later on." I was like, "Okay." So then, like 7 songs go by, and then it's like right before Bloody Valentine. He was like, he went up to me and was like, "Let me just point out this kid who's been singing every effing lyric, every friggin' word, dressed as me, whatever," and then puts me on the big screen, and he had an after party to that show,
Okay.
and I was
Yeah.
underage at the time, so I couldn't go. But so after the show, I was like a celebrity. It was crazy.
Yeah,
But
nice.
I actually drove to Foxwoods, which is where the after party was, just to scope it out to see if I could sneak in. I
Yeah.
was hoping I could. I couldn't. But then all I smelled. Well, this is when me and Brandon kind of we became friends, and he was like, "Yo, Sam just walked by." And I was like, "Oh shit," like Sam Kale or whatever.
Yep.
So then all I smell is like this fattest smell of weed, like the dankest smell you'll
Yeah.
ever smell in your life. And I looked to my right to where it was coming from, and all you see is the posse. Kel's in the front,
Yep.
everybody right behind him. And then, everyone's like, "Yo, what da 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 da," trying to get his attention. And he sees me, walks up to me. He's like, daps me up. He's like, "Dude, you look sick," and all that kind of shit. Then that's kind of what started it. When that
Yeah.
happened, I was like, "Bro, I have to go to Cleveland. Like, there's no way I can
Yeah.
end it on this." And then we went to Cleveland, and then I think that's when That's when you first met him, right, Brandon? Cleveland.
Yeah, mine was kind of weird. We met him in Connecticut, but it was more of like he turned his head, did like a "What's up,"
Little
and then
head
we went
nod,
back
yeah.
in his dressing room.
Oh
And then
yeah, when you're backstage, yeah.
Yeah, and then I got not the same experience as Rob with Foxwoods, but a funny experience at Foxwoods. So I parked my car at the main entrance, right? And I'm like, I didn't see him coming in, but I'm just gonna walk out, whatever. So I'm walking out, but they're walking out the same door that I came in. So I did say what's up to everybody that night, and then I started to walk out, and Slim turns and says, "Bro, just go back." I'm like, "But I parked out here." He goes, "Oh, just go back." So I'm like, "All right." So I can't get to my car for a little bit. Great. So I go back into Fox's. I'm like, "Bro, I think Slim hates me." But long story short, he don't. But that's like the first time I met him. So mine was more on an awkward experience. Like I'm just trying to get to my car to go home at this point. So I'm like, all right. And back to what Rob said, I'm like, I can't end on this because now they're gonna think I'm weird. Try to follow them out to their car. I'm like, no, I came in the store as well. This is the main entrance of where I parked.
Time out, Brandon. Did you guys notice what he just said? He goes, "Well, I couldn't be like Robin, and keep it weird, so I followed them back out to their car."
But no, like backing up to what Rob said about like I couldn't end on this note.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, all right, now I have to do Cleveland because it's
Okay,
like
gotcha.
I want to introduce myself. I don't want you guys thinking I'm that weird crazy fan who tried to follow you out to your van.
There you go.
I'm like, no, I just parked out here. It's the main entrance where everybody comes in.
Yeah.
But I guess it was like the wrong timing to go out.
Yeah, right.
And my mom was already complaining like, hey, I've been sitting in the parking lot. I'm trying to go home. So I was just trying to get back to my mom at that point. But,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And
So
Cleveland was a lot better that they understood.
Yeah.
I talked to Slim. He was like, hey, what's up? I'm like, yo, me and you got the same name. The first and last name.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the same name. So in Cleveland, that's when he brought me over to the crew, and then that's when I formally basically got introduced to everyone in a more like, all right, you're not weird type of way.
Yeah.
But
Not gonna lie, he was sketching out
that's
for
when
like 2 months.
Yeah,
He was
right.
like, dude, they think
Yeah.
I'm weird. They don't like
Yeah.
me.
Was
yeah,
that?
I was texting Rob. I'm like, do they think I'm a weirdo? Like, I wasn't trying to follow them. I
Yeah,
respect
right.
privacy. Like, I know that stuff, but
Yeah. So was that this year at the Cleveland show or last year?
That was last year.
Okay. Gotcha. Because I know you guys also went to emo night at 27 Club. I don't know
Yeah.
how the hell you guys swung tickets for that, but shout out to you guys for being able to come through on that. That's fucking sweet.
it was tough. It was
Yeah,
definitely tough.
I know. Yeah, they sold out in fucking 20 seconds.
I actually missed it, and then, but someone that I know, she bought extra,
Yeah.
and she emailed them trying to switch the names to someone else, and they were like,
Mhm.
refund, and just so happened when they did that, because I got her text like right away saying that they refunded it. I was already on like the website, and
That's
then
cool.
tickets appeared, and then I got it. I got the
And you
ones
got
that they
them?
got refunded.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I had like, can't even tell you how many DMs I got that
Yeah.
day. Like, oh my god, he thinks it's me more. Blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
But that shit was crazy. I'll
Cool.
never forget it.
Yeah.
Emo night was good. I didn't get to go back in, but it was good.
Nice. I want to talk. So, what you guys just kind of alluded to and touched on, and over the course of the past 5 minutes or so, really talking about like the appreciation that the crew has for fans. Like, yes, fans as a whole, but I'm at this point, right? They know you guys run this page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sort
so
of.
More
they
so
may not
I
have
haven't,
this
like-
page,
but
I mean, who knows? Olivia, I think Olivia knows, but I haven't I haven't told Kels or anything, because like whenever I
Okay,
see
gotcha.
him, I'm like, everyone always asks me like, yo, when are you gonna get on the podcast, whatever. I'm like,
Yeah,
when I see him, I'm not asking him that.
right.
I mean, I want to, but I don't want him
Right.
to feel like I'm using him.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm not,
exactly.
and I wouldn't
Yeah.
ever use him. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where I was going to go with that is, right, all of the stuff, right, and again, like, you know, the crew, they interact with your page all the time.
Yeah.
They know you personally. They may not know that you guys are connected, but, right, there's interaction that are kind of going both ways. And then all of the stuff that we just saw on the European leg of the mainstream Sellout Tour, all the stuff that he has done for people that run the fan accounts from overseas, right? I think it's MGK Spain went to a few different shows and got backstage. MGK Israel, I know she was backstage and got to meet everybody. I've never seen an artist interact with the fan base the way that this whole crew does. And I think that's just so special, and I'm so happy that you guys are able to be part of it in some way like that.
I agree with what you said a lot. It's like Kels knows like who is his real fans compared to like, oh my god, let's get a picture, let's just, I want your autograph. It's like he wants to connect with you and like have a conversation with you. It's not all about a picture. It's not about, oh, let me take a picture and post it. No, it's like he wants to meet you. He wants, if you have a story, he wants you to tell him basically your story, how he helped you, da-da-da. But he definitely knows like who's real to compare to like who wants a picture. That's why he takes time with his real fans and he'll like actually sit and have a conversation with you.
I
But
completely agree. I
can say he does know how to give a cold shoulder to ones who just got a phone out.
Yeah.
I've never asked him for an autograph.
Mm-hmm.
I've wanted to, but I'm always like,
Yeah.
hey, I have the CD autographs. I don't need
Yeah.
one. I mean, I've always want like,
That's how I am.
I don't know. It's just awkward because like I really want to, but then like once we're in the same
It's
room,
tough. It's
like
tough,
awkward.
right? And you guys are cool because you guys are in like this very unique situation where like he knows you guys at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so there's this very like weird line between like acquaintance and fan.
Yeah.
And so, how do you go? How do you approach that situation? I'd be stumped like you guys would be like, shit,
That's
you know, would I like an autograph?
mhm,
Absolutely. However, I think I'd rather like him know who I am and like
right.
dap me up every time he sees me. Like to me, that feels way more valuable
Oh yeah.
than having a piece of paper
Absolutely.
like with an autograph on it. So
100%.
I think you guys are playing it the right way, personally.
And
Oh yeah.
what's said about now, like not like friends, but acquaintances and whatnot. That's like not to talk about a side artist, but Drake Bell, for example. I
Hmm.
started out as a fan, and then now me and him are really close friends. I would never
Yeah.
ask him for an autograph now. I mean, me and him wrote a song together and whatnot. But it's like now seeing the other point of view, I guess is what I'm trying to say with that
Hmm.
example.
Yeah.
Seeing the other side of everything, not like the fan side, is like, you see how they feel. So now you're
Yeah.
going to treat them how they want to be treated. You're not just that
Hmm.
fan who wants everything, their
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's honestly like like some of the stuff here at Pink Fox is it's just very similar where it's like one of my biggest fears personally is somebody from the crew is going to see this and think, oh, he's just trying to make a buck, off of what it is that we're doing. And for me, it like that's not what this is at all. This whole thing is amplifying what their message is and actually being the rock star of your own life and doing things despite other people telling you that you can't and just going after whatever it is that you want, whether it's a massive goal, a small goal, and whatever it is that's yours. So that is something that I am very, very conscious about in everything that we do when it comes to Pink Fox. Like his name isn't on anywhere on my website. Like we have a whole section dedicated to him under the inspiration tab. So
Oh, yeah.
it's just a lot. It's just a lot of a lot of homage and just paying your respects to the people that helped you get through a dark point in time, or somebody that's just been there when nobody else was.
I actually
That's how I feel.
when I first saw your page, I was like, not another one of these people. but then I saw your posts or whatever, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this guy's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw the website, read it, and I was like,
Mhm.
wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
initially, I was like hoping you weren't someone that was just trying to make a buck. But then
Mhm.
once I like actually used my brain and actually like looked at things and like,
Yeah.
because the first thing I think I saw was the black sea hat,
Yep.
and I was like, this is radical. And then I didn't really look at anything, and then I went all the way down to the beginning, and I was like, oh, I like this. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
but at first I was a little skeptical, but
Yeah,
obviously,
and
I'm
absolutely,
sure
I
other-
understand
yeah.
why people would be like
Yeah.
that. To me, makes total sense. And then it's funny, like that's how we actually laid out the website in that exact way, to where if you actually read through it, you realize exactly what this brand is about. You get to know me, you get to know the inspiration and what Kells means to me, and then how we're really trying to give or take the messaging of the past 2 years, and how do we mold that and amplify it to the masses.
Exactly.
So, and
Connecting
yeah,
with each other,
yeah,
meeting other
exactly,
fans.
and it's been cool. So, right, my target, we'll say my target audience is MGK fans, which means everything that I make, whether it's a design, whether it's a piece of content, a podcast like this, it's literally just to continue to continue to connect us all together. And that black seat, right, the black version of the hat that I'm wearing right now, that was almost the first step towards it, right? We've all seen the hat that you guys brought up. Sam still wears it all the time, but like Sam was wearing a hat that was super similar. Kels was wearing it, Megan was wearing it, and I was just waiting for them to release it, and they never did. And I was like, "Fuck it, we're gonna do the rock star thing and make it ourselves."
Exactly.
So-
I like it a lot.
Yeah, so that's where like it really is just trying to amplify, just be the rock star of your own life, and if you want something and it's not out in the universe, find a way to make it happen, and that's really what it is that we're doing here. But enough of that. I want to shift the conversation back to you guys. Thank you for letting me go out on that mini tangent. let's just talk about just kind of Kells in general. Like let's go into the music side of things now. Do me a favor, give me like.
Don't do this.
I know. I'm trying to think of exactly where I want this to go. I would like to get your take. Well, let's play a fun little game here, okay? I'm going to name an album. You guys are going to give me a sentence or a single word that describes that album or what that album means to you, okay?
Oh shit. Okay.
Oof,
Cool.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna start off nice and easy. Let's go Tickets to My Downfall.
That album, uplifting and uplifting. The story of the story of a whole year and a half of I transitioned a lot in my life, like jobs, house, everything, and that was like the title track to everything, just uplifting. If any song of that's playing, I'm gearing up and I can go. That's for me. That's how I feel about it.
Brandon, what about you?
I would probably say motivating, because a lot of those songs on the album got me through some pretty tough times, and like I felt very relatable to a lot of songs, and most of those songs like kept me going, if that makes sense. So they're probably motivational.
Cool.
What's your favorite song
me,
off it?
Mine right now is "Forget Me Too," but or maybe "Bloody Valentine." But the songs that got me through a couple tough times was "Lonely" and "Play Me When You're Gone." "Play When I'm Gone." Those two got me like through some.
Damn, you were really going through some shit, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
I got you.
But
Brandon or Rob, what about you? What was your favorite track off Tickets?
Drunk Face.
Yep, that's mine.
Drunk Face was the song of the summer for me.
Drunk Face to me is in a rare era of perfect music.
Oh yeah, that is that from it's Kiss Kiss and then Drunk Face is just
the first is it 5? The first 5 songs, you can make an argument for 6. I'll keep it at 5. The first 5 songs off that album are, and I think it might be the best opening 5 songs on any album ever. Yeah. It starts off with title track. Everybody fucking loves title track. Oh, yeah. We go into Kiss Kiss, then it's Drunk Face, then Bloody Valentine, then Forget Me Too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it just starts off banger after banger. Then the Sticks is all I know. Not sure you guys feel about it.
Oh, I love Trippie Redd.
Do you? Okay. Kind of hit or miss for me depending on the day, but it's cool. Let's go to another album here. We're going to throw this one back. Let's go General Admission.
Ooh. For me, this is like my. I mean, when I listened to it the most, it was when I was in science class, sophomore year of high school.
Why? What? Why?
To be honest, it was freshman year. It was the first time I heard it, and I was like, "This is like Smash Mouth," because, like I said, I didn't have a phone device to listen to anything. So really, I went on a computer at school, and I was like, "MGK."
Oh, that's cool.
To listen, I was gonna listen to like Black Flag, and then I saw this album, and I was like, "Oh, I've never heard of this album."
Cool.
So good, and I just started listening to it again, because I've been listening to a lot of mainstream Sellout, Tickets and Hotel Diablo.
Yeah. Just kind of going
backwards.
Started,
and I was like, bruh, some of those songs are like really sad. Like that. That's the only album. That album and Play This When I'm Gone are the only ones that have actually made me like cry. Because See My Tears and Merry-Go-Round and friggin' Spotlight are just crazy sad songs. Yeah. Like good, wicked good, but
yeah, I actually heard Merry-Go-Round on the car 2 days ago, I think it was. Just kind of came up on shuffle, and I was like, oh shit! Like even like that was a song when it came out. I was like, Like, it's so beautiful. It's beautifully written. Just crazy dark.
That's the only.
Personally, that's not my favorite type of music. So I rarely like listen to it. But when you do, shit, that cuts deep.
Oh yeah, I actually skip that song. I skip Play This When I'm Gone.
Yep.
Just because they're bangers. But like
Yeah.
like if I'm like cooking food and
yeah.
my TV's playing music and it goes on, I'm not gonna run over to the controller and change it. But
Yeah.
if I'm like listening to my headphones and stuff, I'll skip it.
Yeah.
Just because it's
Gotcha.
so sad and like I love it. It's a great song. Like it's pure poetry. It's just absolutely just. It's deep.
Yeah.
It's real deep.
And Brand, what about you?
Maybe All Night Long, or Alpha or
All Night
Omega.
Long. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, speaking of Alpha Omega, like at the Cleveland show this year, thank you. Thank you. Just a little. We just got a little snippet, but thank you. He played it in full. I think it was last year at Rocket Mortgage. So that was just another treat. And like, it seems like Alpha Omega is always going to be in the Cleveland set list. So I can appreciate that.
I wish we got the whole thing, but whatever. I mean, we got it last year. Him and Slim were like, "Yo, let's bring it back a notch."
What they did,
but
in Cleveland, which it was when he did "Till I Die." We got that part where it's like Cleveland's from the city where we come from, and then we heard that in the Cavs. I'm like, okay, this is like a whole different verse. Is he about to like drop a new rap version of "Till I Die"? Because it's like I would love to hear that because it sounded like fire.
It's I think what you're referring to. I'm not sure how many people actually know this. There's a remix to "Till I Die."
Oh yeah.
There is. It's MGK. He does another. It's like MGK in French Montana, of all people, and they do a remix. And it's personally I think Kel's verse on the remix tops either the 2 or 3 verses on the original. So definitely go back through and check that one out because it's pretty solid.
French Montana on Why Boy 2? On that remix with Steve-O in them?
No, that's is French on. Wild Boy
I
remix?
believe it's the Wild Boy one.
Is he? He might be. I don't know. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But honestly, speaking of "Till I Die," like shout out to the Cavs. The Cavs used it as their opening intro song for the year, so showing love. And we know that the Cavs and Kells have a really cool relationship dating back to when Kyrie was drafted back in 2011. So right, exactly. Cool. Let's go with one more here. I'm very curious to know your takes on this album. Talk about Bloom.
At first, the very first time I heard it, I was a little disappointed.
Okay.
The first time. Not like just because didn't expect because it's way different than any album.
Very different.
Any album he's had even since then. So initially I wasn't ready for it. I was Smash Mouth rap is what I was looking for, like General Mission, like Alpha Omega, World Series and stuff. But then maybe 2, 3, 4 listens in, Kiss the Sky, Golden God, At My Best, they all like hooked me, and then I love it now. So
That's it. Yeah.
But I actually was thinking about getting some kind of Bloom tattoo, but nothing yet. Nothing yet.
It's on my list as well. Brandon, what about you?
My favorite song off that album probably is 27. But like Rob said, it was a different. Like I came off a fan off a ticket, so I didn't really have that experience like Rob of like when he said he expected that hardcore rap from the first 2 into that one. So when I went back on it, because like I said, I became a fan off of tickets, and then I went back. So to me, it was just like a regular album because I didn't see the jump from the beginning to there. So I just honestly looked at it as like, oh, cool, it's another album. But
I love that you just said that it felt like a regular album. So one of my personal takes, and I've mentioned this on a podcast I think previously or somewhere else in content. Bloom to me was the first sign that pop punk was in the cards. Right? If you think of the way that some of those songs go, Let You Go
Ooh,
specifically,
that's a good
right?
one.
The guitar solo, the guitars in 27, right? This to me, and I love it because Bloom, right, was the album of evolution, Rob, right?
Oh yeah.
So hearing Brandon say, I went back from Tickets and Mainstream, I went back to Bloom, and I didn't hear too much of a change. It just sounded like a regular album. Is so cool to me because that is my biggest take through all of this. Is that Bloom was the precursor that he could do this and he could do it well.
Oh yeah, and even you can even hear in Wake and Bake the guitars.
Mm-hmm.
It's still trap, but you hear the doo 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 doo
Yep.
when it first starts, and then you got, you get most of the album actually has a lot more sound
Mm-hmm.
than what he's done in the past. I mean, he did have songs on General Admission. Let me just pull it
Right.
up.
He had Kid
Yeah,
Rock, and there was
yeah, Bad
guitars and drums
Motherfucker.
in that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think that's the thing that we can all really appreciate. I think Rob and I specifically that we can appreciate about Kells is that we've been doing live band stuff with him for a while.
Oh yeah.
It's not right. He's not like I guess previously. It's not like he was another rapper that he just had a DJ in the arena hitting a button and the instrumental would play. No, we've been doing this live for a while.
Yeah,
So,
not like Trippie Redd and Cleveland when he just had his DJ and you just kind of.
correct. Exactly.
Not that he wasn't
right.
good, but he wasn't. He's never been like that.
Exactly.
Ever.
Cool. So we got a few minutes here. I want to wrap up with this. I'll let you guys get the last word here. Open up the floor a little bit. What does Kells mean to you guys? So let's start with Brandon. So just if you can go as deep as you want, just
All
go
right.
ahead, man.
So when I seen him at the Big E, and I won't touch on that yet. What he means to me is like his music per se. It's like I feel very connected to it, and it's like I don't talk about my emotions. I don't do any of that. So when I hear his songs, and it's like, oh, I'm not the only one. It's like him to me is like, oh, I could connect to somebody. So it's more like a connection. So he definitely means a lot because he got me through some shit, but he's there when a lot of people aren't there. So it's like I just appreciate his music to where it's like, whoa, you're like one of the first people I could like actually connect to. But
Yeah.
just mainly a
For
connection
me,
through songs.
Yeah. And Rob, what about you?
for me, he's like the father who I never had. When I was growing up, I had a real rough, childhood. Parents weren't there, all that kind of, not really fun stuff. And I, found him, and I was like, this man literally is the epitome of never giving up. That's why I love John Cena, never giving up. And you coming from the bottom, all the people that, were saying stuff, they said stuff to me, they say stuff to him. So it was just like kind of like a teamwork. Like I will defend him no matter what.
Absolutely.
I don't give a what anyone says, and he'll defend us. So it's like he's there, like just like what Brandon said, he's there when when no one is. And now that I have a family, it's a little different now because like my wife, she never understands it, and she'll never understand it. But it's just he just means like so much. It's like indescribable. It's like whenever whatever bad thing will happen in life, school, bullying, whatever, plug in the headphones, he's there. That's all I gotta worry about. And that's how pretty much I grew up my whole life. And then now that's what makes my wife not really understanding it as much because she's like, I'm here for you. I'm like, but you just don't understand. But he just pretty much means like a whole lot. Like I don't think everyone always asks me like what if he wasn't, if you never met him or whatever, like never saw him, like never knew who he was. I'm like, then I wouldn't know who you were. Because he brought me, like, I don't even know where I'd be right now. And it's just, if he were to, like, something would happen. I mean, there's a lot of rappers that are getting hurt right now. I have no idea how I would react. Because, like, no one understands it, like, he's just a celebrity. I'm like, no, that's not how it is. And, like, I don't know how I would mentally be able to handle that. Even though it's possible. Rockstar lifestyle is rockstar lifestyle. And I just don't know if I'll ever be able to prepare myself because of how much he, like, holds a spot in my heart/brain. Like, that's pretty much how much he means to me. And it's hard to express it because I've been asked by Sam, I've been asked by Jordan Woozy, the guy who we had before. And every single time they always say, well, what would you say to him? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, how much does he mean to you? It's like, he means so much. It's like, I don't know what I would do without him. So.
And backing up on.
Yep, I was just gonna say, yeah, like for me, like the quote that resonates the most with me was back at ESTXXCAST. This was 2017, 2018. This was right after Chester passed, and he said, like, that was the voice that I had in my headphones, where it didn't matter what else was going on in the world. I just put the headphones on, and he screamed for me when I wanted to scream. He cried for me when I wanted to cry. And just kind of going down the list of emotions, and that's what Kels means to me. Like, it's that statement. Instead of it applying to Chester, it applies to Kels for me personally. So we'll wrap it up here. I think this was a pretty good conversation, so I appreciate you two coming on. And honestly, as a way to just say thanks, I'm going to hook you guys both up with some gear as well. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys hopping on, doing your thing, spreading the message of EST and, our friendship and our just brief interactions over the past few months. We'll do this again real soon, and cheers to that rap album next year, or hopefully by the end of this year.
Sounds good. Since I'm on a phone,
Thanks, guys.
Put that up. Since I can't do both.
There we go. I got mine. Rob, show yours. There we go. Cool. XX. Gang, gang.
Gang, gang. Okay.
Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Sellouts. Use promo code Sellouts at checkout at pinkfucks.com to receive 10% off of your purchase. Catch you in the next episode.